Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Motown Show. I'm Shrishti Sharma, and yes, the excitement is in autos as we wrap up the September sale month. And September month has been very exciting because yes, the first half was a bit of a washout on the back of that inauspicious period, and everybody was waiting out for 22nd September to make the purchases. And when that happened, it's not just the first 9 days of Navratra, but along with that, the Dussehra sales. If you look at what a blockbuster sales it has been, at least what the Vahan data tells us, because if we compare the first 9 days of Navratra as well as Dussehra sales for autos, the two-wheeler segment on a YOY basis has recorded a jump of almost 28%, and similar is the growth for the passenger vehicle segment. And along with that, in terms of the wholesale data as well, if you see, then most of the companies have managed to outpace what the street was penciling in. So it has been a cheer all across the segment, and every sector and company is seen to be participating in that. Let's tell you some of the numbers over there. Firstly, when it comes to the tractor division, on a YOY basis, the tractor division has recorded a sales of almost 50% on a YOY basis. Definitely, the rural sentiment was holding up quite very well. Along with that, when it comes to the passenger vehicle segment, herein we have seen that yes, Maruti Suzuki continues to hold its leadership position. The sales have been blockbuster, at least what the Vahan data tells us, but it was the small cars segment that has seen a bit of a rebound. Almost a 3.5% jump on a YOY basis in the month of September is what Maruti Suzuki has recorded, though the SUVs were seen to be taking a bit of a backseat. But if you look at the numbers for Tata Motors passenger vehicle, M&M as well as Tata Motors and even Hyundai, all these companies have done so well versus the market estimates, and definitely the stocks were reacting in a similar fashion. Now let's touch on the two-wheeler space. Herein, yes, TVS Motors, Hero MotoCorp, record numbers coming in the month of September. Definitely way better than what the street was penciling in. But along with that, the Eicher Motors Royal Enfield numbers as well. Because there was a tax hike effective 22nd of September, there was a lot of pre-buying that actually happened within the above 350cc segment. That recorded almost a 40% jump, and along with that, even for Bajaj Auto, the numbers were quite very robust. And even the commercial vehicle segment was not left behind. We have seen a good activity picking up on that segment as well. So the clear message is, across the board, we have seen good sales momentum in the month of September. But now the key question that we are asking in the Motown Show today, that is this excitement short-lived? Will it be only the Dussehra and Diwali that will help the sales momentum, or the India auto growth story has long runways of growth? And for that, let us take across to our first discussion on the show. We are being joined by Sai Girdar of FADA. So firstly, let's go across and listen in to this interaction. So, well, when it comes to the September auto sales data, we have seen a lot of excitement. Most of the companies on the wholesale side have recorded almost a record high number for themselves. But on the Vahan sales as well, the excitement is what we can see. But the key to note is what is the real excitement about on ground, and how long is it expected to sustain going ahead? And to answer all of that, we have a very special guest joining us on the show right now. We have Mr. Sai Girdar, VP of FADA, joining us on the show. Mr. Girdar, firstly, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us on ET Now. Yes, a lot of the people are excited. Everybody has been waiting out for 22nd September to hit in and go and make the purchases. But firstly, since you represent the automotive body, why don't you give us a sense in which segments do you believe the most of the excitement is what we are getting to see?
Yeah, hi Srishti. Thanks for having us over. First of all, this time around, it's a bit different. It's not specific to a particular segment. It's actually across segment, from two-wheelers to three-wheelers to four-wheelers to commercial vehicles. So in every segment, there is a bumper growth which we are expecting. Earlier, before 22nd of September, we saw a huge increase in inquiries. Now we are seeing those inquiries being converted into bookings, and bookings being converted into retails. So as you rightly said, most of the OEMs have reported a bumper wholesale. I can just tell you one thing, though the numbers are still not finalized till date, But as far as retail is concerned, retail also would be a bumper. At least in my 30 years of career, I've never seen such a increase as far as such an increase as far as numbers are concerned. And it's a cross segment. If I can just give you an intake on the Navratris last year versus 2023. So there was overall a 12% growth. This time around, we are expecting more than threefold growth. I'm taking threefold growth. That means above 30% growth is what we are expecting.
That's very interesting to note that figure. Well, of course, we have been tracking the Vahan data, but getting that number from you is more crucial indeed. But Mr. Girdar, help us understand if we talk about the consumer-linked sectors, basically the passenger vehicle and the two-wheeler segment. Therein also, we are getting to see a lot of excitement, reacting very positively to the whole GST reset announcement. But within the passenger vehicle space, there was a bifurcation indeed. The small cars versus the SUVs. SUVs have been doing better, but for the small cars, is the excitement even more this time around?
So, Srishti, you pointed it correctly. The entry level segment, if I talk about from the passenger cars, that was actually lagging for last couple of years. In fact, with the changes in the norms, with the increase in the features in those cars, the prices had gone up tremendously, and the customers probably were not taking those cars into their consideration. But now with the drop in prices, and I'll just tell you that the small segment cars have seen the major drop in prices. So there is a drop of approximately 11% if I talk about in GST. Earlier, these cars were taxed at 29%. Now they've come down to 18%. So they have gained the maximum. If I talk about the entry segments cars, and we've seen the traction over there again. We've seen customers coming back to this particular segment. Uh, considering these cars. So these cars definitely will give volumes to the overall industry. And as far as growth is concerned, yes, we see this growth to be sustainable. It will sustain. And probably this time around, the festive period, which we talk about 42 days, starting from Navratri to Diwali, this probably would be a bumper season for all of us.
All right, hoping for that as well. But Mr. Girdar, let's talk about the two-wheeler space. There in the entry level, that has been doing well on the back of the GST reset. But the key question is above 350cc. I was actually looking at to some of the numbers just declared by the leaders on the wholesale side. Case in point being Royal Enfield. They have reported a jump of over 40% YOY for above 350cc segment. Because the catch here was that people were actually going and making those purchases before 22nd of September to have that benefit of a lower GST. But what's been the trend or the excitement with respect to 350cc after 22nd of September? Have we seen some bit of a taper down in terms of demand over there?
So, though I don't have the exact numbers with me, but I don't see that there would be a major drop as far as sales is concerned because most of the OEMs they've actually absorbed the increase in price. So it has not translated into the same increase in price vis-a-vis the increase in GST. Though, if you talk about the lower segment, the entire benefit has been passed on to the consumers. There has been no decrease as far as the retail schemes are concerned. So the benefit on both the sides, the retail schemes are intact as they were previously before 22nd of September, and the prices have gone down.
Right. But Mr. Girdar, the other thing, one of the key concerns that every OEM is highlighting right now is actually the container shortage. I know that you might have some take on that. If you can help us understand, because the excitement is real on ground. Everybody is waiting out to make those purchases, going ahead in Diwali as well. That's a big day indeed, where people want to take that new vehicle back to their home. What's the current situation like? Is the container shortage quite worrisome? I know that it will be from the OEM side, that's sort of an issue. But how are the dealers coping up with that?
Logistics is actually a major concern as on day if you talk about because Initially, the first lot of vehicles, the containers were available, but now doing the circular kind of a thing is becoming a bit of challenge. And I think most of the OEMs have been a bit innovative. We've seen OEMs who never used railways as a mean of transport. They've started using railways for transporting vehicles. And we've seen even dealers, in fact, a few of the dealers whom I know, they had booked the entire trains to get the vehicles from the plant to their dealerships. So it's time to be more innovative. And but in real time basis, if you talk about logistic, will be a concern to up to this Diwali. And I'll only request the consumers from your this thing channel is that if you have the availability of your choice of your vehicle at the dealership, go ahead. Don't wait for anything. Just take the delivery, because it might be a case wherein that particular vehicle is given to someone else at the dealership.
It seems like, but that's an interesting take that the dealers and even the OEMs are looking at railways as a medium to transport their vehicles, because we have seen that scenario for some of the companies. They were very vocal about it, but some never touched it at all. But the other question that is now arising from the market standpoint is this excitement short-lived? And the reason I ask this, because yes, there was a pent-up demand in the industry. People were waiting to make those purchases. People were waiting to take that benefit of extra discounts that they were offered, especially in the small car segments. But as you know, some of the key leaders in the small car segment, they have already announced that the additional discounts are only till 31st of December. And there are some of the other issues as well in terms of the logistics. So do you believe that in the next 2 to 3 months, there could be a lot of excitement that we should be seeing, but post that, it should taper down a bit?
See, as on day, if you talk about it, will be too early to comment on this, because today what we see, the kind of growth which is there as far as inquiries is concerned, the excitement which is there in the market, and the way the retails are happening, the way the dealers are able to do the metal out from the dealership, it looks that it's going to be sustainable. It's going to lead into 2026 also. The only question is that see, once the year changes, most of the OEMs, they tend to increase the price. So to what extent that increase of price will be, to what extent the decrease in the retail schemes would be, that is a big question mark. But as of day, I think it's going to be sustainable. It's going to be sustainable from one is the price at which today the vehicles are available. That's one. Secondly, if you see even the rate of interest, because 90% of the vehicles which are purchased in India are purchased on finance. Even the softening of rate of interest which has happened, because repo rates were reduced, we know, from February onwards, but now we have started seeing the result of the reduced repo rates, which has softened the retail rates for the customer. And it actually makes a point for the customer to go in for even a higher loan, because the overall EMI would be within his budget now.
No, fair point. That year end and the price increase thereafter could play a crucial role in that. But lastly, Mr. Girdar, if you can give us some sense that where are we getting to see most of the excitement? Because urban markets, they were not showing that kind of a growth versus what rural markets were actually showing, especially in select segments like passenger cars. If you can give us some sense that how good a rebound are we getting to see in urban markets versus the rural?
See, I can just tell you one thing. It's going to be a record-breaking festival for us, be it urban, be it rural, because urban is definitely going to go up with the car being more affordable, vehicles being more affordable within the reach of consumers. If you talk about rural, the monsoon has been good. The yield of crops which we are expecting is supposed to be good. So the overall circulation of money, if you talk about, that's going to be the key factor in this. And we're going to see record numbers this festival season. This is what I can tell you, be it urban or rural.
All eyes on that, Mr. Girdar. But so good having you on the channel today. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us. All the best.
Thanks, Shrishti. Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Girdar is quite very optimistic on the sales momentum continuing ahead as well. But now with this, let's hear out from the management as well. Let's take it across to our first interaction that we had with Vijay Nakra of M&M.
Clearly, it's a strong start to the festive season, and I think the fundamental shift we will see that the monsoon playing out extremely well with 8% above long period average, reservoir levels at 90%, land under sowing 2% higher than last year, MSPs at record high levels. I think all of this, along with the input cost for the farmer coming down because of reduction in GST, will augur very well for a strong second half of the year. And we are very bullish on the outlook for both the industry as well as for our performance.
Well, the passenger vehicle industry is also not left behind. Let me take it across to our discussion that we had with Mr. Partha Banerjee of Maruti Suzuki on the sales outlook going ahead.
Seeing traction across all the segments. It is not only one segment which is growing, but if we have to talk specifically about the small cars, in small cars we are seeing a growth to the tune of 50% in the bookings. And if we see across all segments, the growth is very healthy to the tune of 35%. And SUV also, we are seeing a growth to the tune of 30% plus. The endeavor is always to set a new benchmark, because as I shared with you, that this Navratra for Maruti has been a record. In the last 10 years, the performance has never been that. And we are looking forward to having a healthy and a very good sales in the month of October also.
Well, two-wheeler industry is at an interesting juncture because that particular segment has been performing very well of late. But what's the outlook going ahead? Let's understand that from Mr. Rakesh Sharma of Bajaj Auto.
October should be better than September, because in October we will realize the full impact of the GST cut, which is a combination of effects. One is that, of course, there is more money in the pocket of the customer because of the across the board reduction in GST, so there's more disposable income. And second is, I must admit, the timing was spot on, and there is a very good positive sentiment. The upgrading trends over the last 5 years are very stark and visible. The below 100cc market, 100cc and below 100cc market, which used to be about 55% or so, has shifted to about 48%. So there is a fundamental trend of the upper half growing more strongly. That fundamental trend will become even more reinforced and stronger, therefore, because of the GST cut. People who are slightly better off have money in the wallet to take that leap and go to a better and bigger bike.
So the September month has been very good, but most of the industry experts do believe that it will continue for quite some time now. And it's a structural story that is playing out in India's automotive industry. But with this, viewers, it's a wrap in this edition of the Motown Show. See you next week.